and welcome to our second season finale of the 1224 podcast. I'm Kate.
I'm Shay.
And we're here to talk to you about everything animation. Yeah!
We made it 2 seasons. Still no cancellation.
No cancellations. We're doing great, I think.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Yeah. Our managers, aka us, I think they're pretty satisfied.
Yeah. I got threatened once, but it's fine.
No, it's fine. I've also been threatened.
Yeah.
We're okay.
We should really get new managers.
Maybe.
Yeah. Who knows?
But we appreciate our listeners right now for sticking around with us in our second season. We love you and appreciate you. To end things off, in the new year, we're going to be talking about POC creators within the animation community, industry, everything, behind the scenes, whether if it's animating, character designing, backgrounds, writing, all over the place animation that isn't necessarily the performance part of it. Just because we want to amplify...
amplify these voices.
Yes, thank you, Shay.
Yeah, also, I guess just to plug in a past episode, we had an episode about POC voice acting, like voice actors.
Yes.
Last season with our good friend Steven.
Check it out.
So yeah, if you're interested in that aspect, I would say go check out that. But this is mainly, again, about like more so the actual animating process, and also about a lot of creators of shows, at least on my end, with like thinking about this. So yeah, that's really it.
So we're basically just going to have a discussion about what it means to have diversity and inclusion within the whole production, pre-production, production, and post-production of animation, in conjunction to the creators that we kind of had in our notes or whatever that we wanted to pretty much like bring up and give them the appreciation for the work that they do, as well as inspiring more POC creators to come to the animation industry itself. We can just start off with like a discussion about, I don't know, I guess what it means to be a POC, being interested in animation.
Oh, I thought you were gonna ask like what it's like to be a person of color. We've been abbreviating because I'm not gonna say person of color the whole time.
Yeah.
No, I thought you were gonna ask like what is it like to be a person of color? I'm like, oppressed? What do you mean?
I don't want to be that person because I am also a person of color who wants to be in animation.
For people who doesn't know we're both people of color. I mean, I feel like we mention it a decent amount. I hope people realize that we are.
Yes, we are. We are two POCs in this podcast talking about animation.
Yeah.
I hope they know.
Yeah,
by now.
But what does that mean in the animation community? I mean, I don't know. I feel like that's such a complicated thing too, because it depends on like who you surround yourself with.
Yeah, it's very broad in general.
Yeah, it's very broad in general, because I could talk about good things and also awful things. So like,
we could talk about. Should we start with good and then bad, or like?
I guess like this, in terms of like the animation industry itself. Even though like there are like a lot of people of color behind the scenes, it's still like, I don't know, the main people that you usually see are very white. So like especially in terms of like people like showrunners.
Yeah.
I guess like since I want to do like animation and eventually at some point do showrunning, it's very like frustrating sometimes. Yeah. I mean,
it really is.
Yeah, like I mean, it's always, I don't know, it's always very weird like talking about it, because I'm like, well, I know a lot of people are like, you can find inspiration in anyone, which is true. It's very true. You can find inspiration in anyone. But at the same time, it's like, I feel like when people say that, they're usually not on the end of like where there's not any representation.
Right.
for them within a space.
Exactly. And it's like, sure, like, yeah, you make the valid point, Shay, that, you know, you can find inspiration from anyone, but it's definitely, like, a little hard to feel that way if it's not someone that kind of looks like you, or, you know, pretty much is, like, in general, like, a person of color. Like, you don't, just because of how dominantly white still kind of like the animation industry is in general, but also just with their showrunners and creators, it could just suck. I was also kind of thinking about how showrunners, white showrunners in animation, like, they have main characters that are POC. So, like, I'm kind of like thinking about She-Ra and the Owl House, and I'm pretty sure there are people, like, behind the scenes and, like, animating that are a person of color, but, like, you know, obviously, like, the showrunners are, like, white.
Yeah.
So then that kind of makes me feel like
Yeah, no, I think also, like, okay, there's a lot of stuff going on in my head and trying to organize it. I didn't write notes.
Yeah.
Fun fact, I write notes for, like, the worst episodes that I need to write notes for. But,
it's okay.
If you are a person and you have a character, it, like, again, this isn't even just, like, a white person thing. Like, sometimes this happens, like, let's, like, say, like, a POC creator has a character that's also a person of color, but it's not, like, they're not from the same group, right? Because Craig at a Creek, I think, has that situation, too. Yeah, one of the showrunners is white. I think another person is a person of color, but they're not black.
Got it. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, like, from what I understand. But he's, like, white passing, which, like, whole other can of worms with things. Once we get into, like, white passing things and, like, colorism, that's a different topic, kind of. But, like, it's all, I think, like, if you are a person and you're writing about a group that you're not a part of, you need people on your writing staff to be a part of that group. Because if you don't, then things aren't gonna, it won't turn out well. Or, like, there's a high possibility that it won't turn out well, to be honest. Like, for example, the She-Ra incident. What happened with She-Ra, there's a live stream, and basically, like, since most of the writing staff is white from what I understand, and, the character Bo, he's a black character, right? Yeah. They're, like, making jokes about, like, Bo's, like, 8 brothers, which I'm like, okay, whatever, right? Like, I don't really care, but, like, it got to the point where they were joking, they're like, oh yeah, and he has a brother who farms named So, and if you don't know, especially, like, the history, like, black people in the United States, because these are American people talking about this, it's, like, and also, like, the way they, like, drew him, I think, was, like, a dirty farmer, quote-unquote, which, like, the thing is, if you know, so, basically, in the United States, black people, history of slavery, right? And, like, one of those forms of slavery was that we were, like, subjected to, like, doing, like, field work and everything. So, with that comment coming from white people, it's not good. It's very, like, uncomfortable, especially.
It really is.
This was, like, months ago, so, like, I'm probably not, I don't remember everything. I know that one part was said. I know there are other issues within the stream, too, because I think someone said something, like, there's an ableist thing that happened, which, by the way, is another, like, very underrepresented thing within animation, too.
So
like,
true,
like, handy-capable people being represented. I don't feel like I can really speak on that, because I'm not in that group. It's, like, there's a lot of stuff going on in that stream. I think also someone, like, used a slur, but, like, it wasn't for their group, but, like, no, but, like, people who were part of that group who could use it were okay with it. It was a weird stream. It was a very weird stream.
It really was. Just all around, that live stream just went so downhill. Oh my god.
Just, like, hearing about it, seeing the clips from it, I'm like, how? And this is why also, again, and when you have diversity in your cartoons, it doesn't matter. I'm sorry. It doesn't matter unless if you
So
have
true.
people on that writing staff that can actually, like, put, like, can check if something is, like, insensitive, or, like, check if, like, or, like, write a character that feels more authentic, quote unquote, and not just, like, as a diversity point, you know? Because, like, yes, I'm happy that we're having more diverse cartoons, especially with main characters. I'm very happy about that. But it's, like, in the end, like, does it really matter if, like, you and your writing staff cannot reflect some of those things with your character, you know? Like, I have the same issues with, like, the Owl... Well, actually, no, the Owl House is, like, a really weird instance, though. That's the thing. Because, like, this actually goes more into, like, my problems with, like, characters being, like, when creators are like, this character's black, but then it's, like, no semblance of, like, features of them indicating that they're black.
Right.
So, like, shows, like, these are all shows I like, too. That's the thing. Owl House. And then Kipo, too. Like, Kipo also kind of, in that show, there's stuff that bothers me, too. Like, I don't know, Song Turning to a Monkey, I've always been, like, very, like, why exactly that?
Oh my god, I just realized how weird that can be. Oh my god.
Like, also because with Kipo, I don't know what the writing staff looks like, because Netflix shows it's harder to see what the writing staff looks like for some reason. That's the thing.
It really
is. I think I only know She-Ra's writing staff because I've seen a majority of them. Or, like, I've seen, like, at least the people who are usually, like...
The live stream?
Yeah, like, the live stream, and then, like, things. But then again, like, I might be missing people. So, like, Kipo, I don't know what the writing staff is, because for the most part, I think Kipo's a good show. I just think, like...
It is.
The whole monkey thing was weird. And then, like...
For real.
Even...
I don't think a lot of people realize that. And then... I just realized, like, the creator of Kipo is a white man, and I'm just like, wait a minute.
He's a white guy, but, like, I think, at least with that show, I'm... Literally, my only criticism was the monkey thing. And then also, like, with Kipo... Well, the thing with Kipo, it's, like, everyone's very split on this, too, I feel like. Or maybe people aren't, I don't know. Like, Kipo's design as a character, because, she's pink, right? Which I'm like, okay, whatever. But then it's also, like, she's technically half black, but she's technically a clone of her mom. So, like, that's why I was like, I don't know. Like, it's very complicated with her.
Yeah.
Because that's, like, a different from the Owl House. Because with the Owl House, like, it's just, like, a random stream. There's always streams. And, like, I didn't have an issue with it, but it was more like, one of the, people who works on the show, because she was, like, the inspiration for Luz, and she's Afro-Latina, so then Luz was Afro-Latina, but then a lot of people point out, like, so if Luz is Afro-Latina, like, it's, like, they didn't give her, like, black features, which is, like, another weird thing in, like, TV shows in general, like, my experience. Very weird, because it's very, like, very, like, anti-black features with, like, certain characters. Again, this is why I guess also the Kipo situation is very complicated again, because it's, like, technically, it's a weird situation, which I'm like, I don't...
Yeah, it's complicated.
Yeah. Basically what I'm saying is, like, with certain things like that, and creators just saying things just to say things... Oh, Marceline! Marceline's another example, I guess, because, like...
Oh, right.
Marceline's example is also really weird, though, because it's, like, it's another, like, kind of Kipo situation, but not really. But also, I'm like, I don't know if they confirm Marceline herself to be black, but her voice actress is black, so it's like...
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, too. And then I think with her mom, her mom's black, Marceline?
Yeah, but then...
And then they replaced the voice actor?
Yeah, because I know, like, because I know Rebecca Sugar did the voice for Marceline's mom for, like, the finale. I don't think they were planning on Distant Lands at the time or something either.
Right.
So, like, I don't know. Marceline's situation, I'm just like, well, you guys want me to use my brain? I'm sorry. I don't have a brain. No, because I'm like, okay, like, I don't remember them confirming that Marceline's black. But then at the same time, like, she is black-coded, because, like, for the Fiona and Cake thing, they got Donald Glover to voice Marshall
Yeah.
Lee. So I guess they are black coded, but they don't have like black features. And I'm like, what's happening? Basically, what I'm saying. Oh no, basically what I'm saying is, for character design, if your character is supposed to be black in some semblance, you should probably give them black features. A lot of these things fall into like European like beauty standards, right? Same thing. Voltron.
Oh, yeah.
Voltron's another show. That's the show I was thinking of. Voltron. Allura, because she's heavily black coded, because she's dark, and she's voiced by a black woman, and like she has very European features. And then also Hunk was confirmed to be like half black too.
Oh, I didn't
like
know
later on. It was like a very random thing. Like no one like is like near the end of this series. Like, he was confirmed to be, like, half black, but he doesn't have any black features. What's the point of confirming your characters to be black if you're not going to, like, at least put in, like, the, at least in character design, like, also imply that they are? Because then it kind of reinforces that, like, especially, like, black features are, like, desirable or, like, aesthetically pleasing, I guess. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's my rant about characters.
That was a great rant.
Yeah, no, it's just annoying, because I'm like, what, like, it's not hard.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. It's one thing to say, oh, by the way, this character is black, and then expect everybody to think, oh yeah, okay, that's cool that they're black, but like, how? And where? And, why? Just... like, if they want to say, like, a character is a person of color, then it's like, it doesn't mean... What am I trying to say? It's one thing to say that your character is a person of color, but if it doesn't necessarily represent that person of color accurately, I guess, is that the word for it? Or
it's like...
authentic...
Yeah.
Then it just, like, completely misses the point of what it means to be diverse and inclusive, because now you're just trying to get people's attention.
Yeah, I have more so of a problem when they retcon, like, not retcon, but, like, when they say it later on in the show and there was no evidence of it. Like, I think that's where I have the major problem. That's why with Voltron,
that's so stupid.
I'm more angry about the Hunk situation than I am about the Allura thing, to be honest. And then... with Owl House, I have that same problem a little bit. Because I think someone else said, like, Willow was supposed to be, like, half black, half Asian. I'm like, I don't think you guys understand what's happening.
What?
Because Willow's voice actress is a black actress also. Tati Gabrielle. Yeah. I love her.
And she's also Asian.
Yeah. And so, like, I think also when I'm sitting there, I'm like, yes, she should have, like, characters. Not all, like, people of the same race look alike. Obviously.
Yeah.
But, like, it's still, like, with Owl House, it's more of a situation of, like, canon black characters from, like, the Jump, right? And so, like, saying a lot of these characters are, like, black specifically, again, because this is, like, my own experience, it's, like, it feels really weird that, like, now... I don't know, it's, like, it's hard to explain, because it's, like, if you're saying things after the character designs have been released, but, like, your character designs aren't, like, super reflective of the thing that you said. Yeah. I think that's what I'm saying. Because, like, the Marceline thing felt weird a little bit. Because, like, I don't know, when I saw her mom, I didn't think, oh, her mom's, like, black automatically. I thought, like, her mom was, like, Indian, or, like, I didn't, because, like, I also looked at the hair texture, and I was like, I don't, like, oh, like, she's probably, like, dark-skinned Asian or something. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
And then everyone's like, no, she's black. I'm like, no, that makes sense because they're voice actresses. And I was like, wait, no, like, she's supposed to be black coded. And I was like, what is happening?
Not gonna lie, it's really hard to kind of, like, pinpoint everything if you're making a show and creating these characters and you're not being necessarily specific, or, you're just saying this stuff in order to just get that diversity, like, award,
Yeah, it's like... I think, again, this was all in terms of character design, again. Again, I don't think that people should be afraid of giving characters, like, visibly, like, for lack of better terms, it sounds weird in my head, visibly ethnic features.
Yeah, as long as it isn't offensive, or, you're actually doing the research and giving, like, that person that's within that group that voice to like point out whether or not this should be allowed.
It's like very easy to like study pictures of people. Literally, as long as it's like, and also like check in with people of color. Because here's the thing, like I'm not thinking about like cartoons now. I'm thinking about like just artists I see on the internet. For some reason, this past year has just been a mess for people just doing racist things. Like,
oh boy,
just,
yeah.
and then rejecting the criticism. Which, by the way, these aren't like people who are doing animated projects. These are people who are like doing like just fun character designs, right? And so when people criticize you about your work, and like it's a valid criticism, and like it's about like caricatures, or like writing of the character too, which I find which is like the most annoying, to be honest. Listen to them, especially if you're not part of that group. You should definitely listen to them. So yeah, okay, I'm done. I think I'm done with my rant about character design. This took too long. I didn't mean to go on for that long.
You tell them. No, you're fine. I think that's really interesting to hear about that perspective in a way that's just pretty much about character designing, and just because of how Eurocentric it still is, even though when we say, oh yeah, animation is so great at, you know, bringing in diversity and inclusion when it's just getting started, you know?
Yeah, like, you can argue that, like, here's the thing, like, I know a lot of people, like, that, like, animations get more diverse, which is true. It's true in, like, all aspects.
Yeah, totally.
At the same time, it's, like, is it there just to, like, it's such a complicated thing, too, because it's, like, on one hand, it's, like, I'm like, you don't need your characters to be people of color if you want to do a story that's so specifically about an issue that people of color face. Like, you can have them in a story that's, like, not about... Like, Craig of the Creek, again. I like Craig of the Creek. Craig of the Creek, one, has a lot of black people underwriting stuff. Because Craig is a black character. They do. And, like, when I watch episodes, I'm like, oh, yeah, that's how my family... Like, this reminds me of, like, people I know in my life. And then... And that show is by, like, non-black people. Like, created by non-black people. And that show's not even about, like, race, really. It's literally about a kid in a creek in the suburbs of Maryland. Just chilling.
Just having adventures. Yeah.
I think that's great. I love it. I love it a lot.
I love it, too.
Like, this whole thing isn't telling people, like, you can't write characters that are outside of, like, your experience or world knowledge. It's more so, like, you have to, like, talk to people who are within that, like, characters, like, group. It's not hard.
Yeah. I think it's also just the fact, it's more, like, both that we need more POC, like, showrunners, but then also the fact that if you aren't, like, a part of a group, then you should at least amplify their voices and give them credit for allowing you to take that knowledge and putting that into your own craft. I think we just take a lot of, like, animation for granted, and we don't, you know, if your craft is something that you want to, you know, put into a story that is definitely so unique and different and diverse for an audience, I think it's like, it's so much power. There's so much power in that. It's definitely taken for granted, and you need to really, really just appreciate that and give that credit and that voice to that group that was able to kind of pretty much give you that research. And obviously you have to educate yourself, and they're not, and those people in that group basically aren't there to educate you. It's your job. It's your power to do that yourself. And going back to Craig of the Creek, I really wanted to give a shout out to one of the writers there who became his story editor, and his name is Jeff Trammell.
I love him. He's so cool.
I love him so much. He's such an inspiration. I just watched his Cartoon Network panel, along with he was at a panel with Kate Song, who is also another writer, and they were talking about pretty much like writing an animation. And keep in mind, these are both, like, POCs. Jeff is a black creator, and Kate Song is Asian. And so, you know, being a writer myself, it was really inspiring to hear their own perspectives and how they got into writing in animation. And I think the thing with Craig of the Creek, it's so amazing to hear especially Jeff's perspective on what it means to like write these types of stories, because like, you know, it's one thing to be like writing stories that, you know, people of color already face in real life, but like with Craig of the Creek, it's just so relieving to just watch characters that are people of color, especially in the Black community, like, you know, just not have to deal with that.
Yeah,
you
like,
know, in the show.
No, like, I guess in cartoons it's less like, okay, again, it's like with a lot of Black narratives, just in general, not in animation, just in general, there's like this very like weird trend of like suffering that's really annoying, and like
Yeah.
I have a lot of issues with like a lot of media like starring Black people, because it always falls into like very specific categories. It's either like trauma in modern day, trauma when during segregation, and then like if it's not about like trauma, then it's like comedy, but then sometimes like the comedy, like even then, like I don't think this is like involving like a lot of issues, I feel like, in terms of like Black community stuff, but like sometimes like the comedy feels like very exclusionary to like Black queer people too sometimes,
Oh yeah.
which is like another can of worms too. Like I want, like, basically what I'm saying is like I want there to be at least at one point we're all just like chilling and like, you know, like people understand that intersectionality exists one day. That would be really cool, because like then
That would be really neat.
that would be very neat. I will applaud people when they learn the different,
Indeed.
like, there's so many different things.
Yeah, I feel like both types of narratives really need to like be shown in a way where things are kind of like balanced, and there's not a lot of stories where it's just, I mean, okay, I'm not a Black person. I cannot speak for the Black community, and it's a person of color myself. It's like, it's just nice to, you know, see these characters, like people of color, be the main characters, but also not having to deal with their own type of racial suffering. I guess I kind of wanted to like mention the different creators that are basically just changing the narrative of animation in general.
Oh, me
and
too.
Giving
Okay.
a positive spin on things. Yeah, cool. Oh, okay, we're on the same page. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, like, you know, despite this deep conversation that needs to be continued, and continue to let us know what your thoughts are on that. But, you know, the animation industry in general is also drastically changing in such a different way, especially at this time. And so with that, we want to also congratulate the good accomplishments that happen within diversity in animation. So I don't know if you want to start with that.
Oh,
Shay.
yeah. I have a few creators off the top of my head. Again,
Sure.
I didn't write notes. I know probably one we were both going to mention was Ian Jones-Cordy, who's the creator of
Yes.
OKKO.
Yes.
You know, I'm very proud of him. I'm proud of him. That's all I'll say. But
Me
like,
too.
OKKO is one of those shows. Okay, like, it's one of those shows where like, it's so enjoyable, and I feel like anyone could really watch it.
Yes.
Would I say it's like modern day Chowder? Kinda, actually. I would say that. It feels like Chowder a little bit, but like even more off the wall. Oh, like,
yeah.
but like, they're like, I don't know. Would I say they're completely both they're on the same level off the wall to me. But like OKK is more like video game oriented, and
yeah.
it's just a feel good show, and I really like how like he like Ian like took his experiences from like when he was working when he was younger, and then put that in the show. And I like all the characters, and I like how the characters, but like I like how with his black coded characters, like it's like it doesn't feel like everything's like last minute, because like you got Rad, who's like a very obviously like black coded like alien, and then Enid, who's like black coded, I think. Yeah.
Enid.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah. Yes.
Like, of course, like I just like the show. I don't know what to say. I like the show.
I like the show too. It's very neat. It's such, I don't know, it's definitely one of my favorite comfort shows. I don't know, just something about it just makes me feel all like wholesome and nice just because of how, I don't know, it's really fun. That's all I gotta say. And like I just love Ian for making such a good show that has a great story and then mixing in comedy and then like, I don't know. Like, they also tackle a lot of issues that nobody really realizes. There was, like, this one episode where they were talking about, like, gun control and stuff.
Oh, that episode.
That's crazy.
I have very mixed feelings on the episode, to be honest. But, like...
That's fair, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I have to rewatch it to really remember. But, like, it...
And then there was, like, this other thing with, like, climate change, and then, like, Captain Planet was there.
Oh, yeah. And we got, like, the like one of the Planeteers to come back, which like
the amount of guests in that show is the crossovers. I applaud Ian for that.
He got Sonic.
He got Sonic.
He had a character voiced by was it someone from Korn? I think it was someone from Korn. And, like, he got him to just do, like, a bunch of early 2000s, like, new metal references as he's, like, walking down the plaza. It's wild.
God.
It's a wild show.
The power that he has.
Yeah.
Wow.
But that's one of the creators.
Yeah.
That I want to touch upon. Do you have another creator?
I also had a creator in mind, and her name is Fatima Al-Naeri. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right, who is the creator of Imara, which is a show on YouTube. Yes.
Imara slaps. Talking
it really
about
does.
It's like, did we talk about this before? I feel like first episode ever. We did that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's been like a year. But Imara, it's a magical girl show that takes place in the United Arab Emirates, and it's really good. The theme song slaps. I don't know what the state of like them doing season 2, because it's a very small studio.
Yeah,
I do know that, but I know like she's been doing like other stuff recently.
Yeah.
But so I don't know what the progress is for season 2, but please check out Imara. It's a really short series actually, like very short. You can like finish it within like 2 hours, right? Something
yeah,
like
I
that.
remember us watching it and finishing it in one night.
Yeah, we're like, oh wow, it's like still really early.
Yeah, it's not that bad.
Yeah, like it's a really good show. The ending, it ends on a cliffhanger, which is really fun. Yep. Can't wait for whenever season 2 comes out. So
me too. It's so nice to just see superheroes that aren't Marvel or DC, and like this is like the first. I wouldn't say first. I don't think, but it's definitely nice to see an Arab superhero.
Yeah, I think it's in terms of like it being like a non-American thing, it's like when I say it's like one of the biggest things that like America's picked up on. Like it's not like huge in America. Like if you're like an animation fan, and especially if you like magical girl stuff, I feel like you probably heard of it. Like, when I watched it, I noticed, like, there are Cutie Honey references in the opening. Like, that's... yeah, like, it's a really cool show. So, especially if you like superheroes and, like, magical girl genre shows, and you want, like, something cool to watch, Imara. Also, Imara's really cool because, like, she's not the... Like, she's, like, a hijabi, like superhero too, which is really cool.
Yeah, it's so nice to see that, just because like, you know, in Marvel they have Miss Marvel, but she doesn't like wear a hijabi like when she's like in full Miss Marvel mode. And then like with Imara it feels more authentic. And then like going back to Miss Marvel and like the whole live action thing, I don't want to talk on that.
Look, if we're getting into live action stuff, we're gonna have to talk about colorism for like a whole hour. So like
yes, yeah, that's a whole different topic. But with Imara, I don't know. It was just really, really inspiring to see it was really inspiring to see Fatima pretty much like talk, because I watched like this one video where she was like being interviewed about like her process with Amara, and she's like, you know, she's literally like in her office. It's pretty small, but like, you know, she's like character designing and Amara and stuff. And you know, she was just very passionate about like having more Arab superheroes that aren't like, you know, that are like authentic, and they aren't like stereotyped and stuff. And so like it was just nice to like be like, oh yeah, that's badass, watch Amara. That's it, that's all I got.
Yeah. Okay. Another magical girl, like this is more magical girl leaning, especially Bee and Puppy Cat, Natasha Allegri. I feel like a lot of people forget about her, but
for real though.
Yeah, like Bee and Puppy Cat is basically about this girl named Bee, and she goes on little temporary jobs with her puppy cat, who's like an alien prince, which is cool. Tasha Allegri has worked on Adventure Time. She's the reason why we have Fiona and Cake.
Thank you, everybody. Say thank you, Natasha Allegri.
Thank you, Natasha, for ruining a bunch of people's lives, but like in a good way, you know.
God. Indeed.
She's pretty well known in terms of like Bee and Puppy Cat and her Adventure Time work. I know she's done. Oh, she wrote like the Fiona and Cake mini comics. I know she's done another thing. I don't. Oh, she was recently in this one illustration like comic compilation that I got offline, and she did like a comic for that. So right now she finished a Bee and Puppy Cat Lazy in Space like a few years ago actually, but it's gonna be released this year through Netflix because Frederator
so excited.
is a mess. And they don't know.
It really is.
Also, isn't like Verve becoming defunct or something? Is that the other reason?
Maybe. I don't even know.
Because I know like DC like moved Harley Quinn off of there, and that's why it's on HBO Max now or something.
Yeah.
So there's like a lot going on with that, but like she's a creator. She's been one of my like art inspirations for years now. Because everything she does is like always really good. I especially love her illustration work. Because like there's like a sense of whimsy to like everything that she does, and that's something I want to achieve in my work, even though I'm not very like a whimsical person. But like, like
it's really cute.
Yeah, like I love her art, and I love like what she does with Being Puppy Cat, especially with it being a show that's like it's technically in the genre of new adult. I watched an analysis video about like Being Puppy Cat because the whole show is kind of about growing up, but like you're technically already like in that adult stage of your life, but you're still like you don't know what to do. And I think we're missing a lot in animation also.
So true.
Like to the point where it's like pitiful, which I think is hilarious, especially like in Western animation. We really don't have that. So I really appreciate her for at least filling like somewhat of that void and everything. Because like rewatching Bee and Puppy Cat now, I get sad. Not gonna lie. Because Bee and Puppy Cat first came out when I was in middle school, like late middle school, early high school, and now I'm in college, and like the whole world is crumbling, and I don't know what to do. And I really like rewatching that show. And I'm like,
so relatable.
Yeah, it's a really good show, and I really, really appreciate it, and I appreciate her, and yeah, that's
like definitely. I just remember watching Being Puppy Cat for the first time, like such a long time ago in middle school, and then just like finally waiting for Lazy in Space. I'm really excited for it, just because like, you know, Being Puppy Cat is so special to us, I feel like, and I'm just ready to see her thrive. Also, by the way, she's Japanese and Bolivian from my research, I believe. Oh, I guess, like, let's see, there's two other creators that I want to bring up, and they're both, like, showrunners. Matt Brawley, who is, like, the creator of Amphibia, and, you know, he's Thai American, and it's a really fun show. because the main character, Anne, is also Thai American, and then she just ends up in this, like, frog world, and she kind of just has to, like, pretty much find her way home, pretty much with, like, her newfound, like, frog family. And it's really cute. It's really fun. I don't know. Something about Amphibia is really neat, just because, like, it's so nice to see, like, lead Asian characters that aren't necessarily, like, light-skinned. Me being Filipino myself, and Filipinos basically being, like, the ones that are kind of, like, more oppressed just because of our, like, brown, and there are darker skin complexions within our community. So, like, even though I'm not Thai, it was really nice to see that, like, type of representation for that main character while also having a creator that is also Thai American.
Yeah, no, that's...
Yeah.
No, like, I've seen a few episodes of Amphibia. I don't really follow it as much as, like, Kate does, or really anyone else does. Like, I really like the show from, like, the things I've seen. And yeah, like, again, I'm not Asian.
The tables have turned. It's okay.
The tables have turned me. I'm not Asian, so I can't, like... But, like...
It's okay. It's this one understanding that we have.
Yeah, no, like... we bond over colorism in our own communities. That's what we do.
It's okay, Shay.
Yeah, no, like, even I, like, when I was watching it, people told me that Anne was Thai. I, like, thought, I was like, wow, we really don't have, like, any dark-skinned Asians in TV shows.
Yeah.
Like, I really thought, I was like, really Jesus
don't.
Christ. But, because, like, yeah, wait, no, we really don't, because then it's, like, the only other
really don't.
Things, like, the only things I could think of at the top of my head are, like, the Avatar franchise, and even then, like, that's written by white people, so I don't really want to talk about that, but, like, it's... But yeah, no, I think that's really, I'm really happy that, like, we're getting, like, at least, like, representation in that aspect, too, which is why, like, I don't know. What I'm saying is colorism is a disease, like, we would,
it really is.
Yeah, we would progress as a society if, like, we weren't colorist.
It's very present, like, pretty much in the rest of the world.
Yeah, like, even if you don't think it is. Like, it is. I don't know what to tell you. Me watching Proud Family... Look.
Oh, boy.
I can talk about Proud Family for a very long time, but, like, But yeah, no, Amphibia, it's a cute show. It's very, like... It's very nice to watch when I watch it, which is once a year, so...
It's okay, Shay. I understand.
I'll watch more. I'm planning on watching more at some point. I just think it's a show I need to watch with people. I think that's what it is.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. It does have that vibe. Just because of how much they focus a lot on, like, chosen family. And I think it has similar humor to, like, OKKO, just because it has some, like, off-the-wall, like, humor. But yeah, Matt Browley, good guy. He, previously directed on Gravity Falls and Big City Greens. Yeah, fun guy all around. Good for him.
I have, like, 3 people, so...
Oh, cool, yeah. I have...
So, one person I want to bring up, right? The creator of the Backyardigans, who is Janice Burgess. I have very bad last names. I think she's the only Black woman showrunner ever. Which is real... From what I understand.
Wow.
Which makes, when you watch the Backyardigans, everything makes sense. Because, look, as a child, the Backyardigans was one of my shows. It was one of my favorite shows of all time.
Same.
And also, like, Backyardigans is another show where, like, I felt like I could relate to some of the characters, too. Because, like, a lot of characters are coded as Black in the show, also. Yeah. Because, like, also because their names. I'm sorry to be that person. Tyrone and Uniqua, especially. Tasha. Those 3 especially. Like, I felt like, I was like, oh, like, they're like me, right? And, I don't know, Backyardigans is a preschooler show, so I'm not gonna say a lot about it, you know? Not gonna say a lot about it, but good show, good music, very fun.
Really is. Yeah, so, like, pretty much, like, when I was, like, in elementary school, I remember watching the Super Spy episode and just, like, I went out in the playground and playing, like, pretending to be, like, one of the super spies, like Pablo. Yeah, that's it. That's all I remember. It's a fun show, and I love it.
Yeah, like, I think also, like, with children's shows, too, it's so, like, preschooler shows, it's really important, too. Which, like, I always found interesting. No, this is what I find interesting. I did a whole project about this last year, actually. I find it very interesting how, like, with, like, preschooler shows, I've noticed, like, there's more diversity in preschooler shows than there are in, like, adult animated shows. Especially because for some reason, adult anime shows, we don't have really anything. Like, I mean, okay, a lot of people point to the Boondocks, and a lot of people point to, like, I'm forgetting a show. Okay, it's Boondocks, the Jellies, Black Dynamite, that's the show. Those 3 shows, and, like, of course, some other shows, too. Like, the Cleveland show, even though I don't like the Cleveland show at all, because, like, it's, like, Cleveland show is very problematic. But,
it is.
But then, like, also people say, but anime is targeted towards adults. And I'm like, but it's more so in, like, in the Western sphere, we don't have any, like, really, like, any shows with, like, characters from, like, diverse, non-white backgrounds. We don't really have that.
Yeah.
Like, even, like, yes, again, we have those 3 shows with, like, black main characters, but, like, what about, like, Hispanic main characters? What about, like, Asian main characters and, like, adult-oriented shows? Like, why
Snaps.
we barely have anything. Because a lot of, like, adult anime shows are about either dumb or very cynical white men and their families. Yep. That's the other thing. I'm sick of family sitcoms. Please get rid of them. I hate those. But, like, I don't hate them. I'm just sick of them. But, like,
I'm sick of white-centric family sitcoms, or ones that just don't necessarily represent, like, a group.
Yeah, like, I think I'm mainly sick of some of the main ones, to be honest. And then also, like, since Rick and Morty got big, now we have, like, more cynical white main characters, which I'm like, okay. But I'm just, like, I want more diversity. Because, like, to be honest, when I make a show, whenever that is, or however I'm gonna do it, I don't know.
Same.
I'm not planning on targeting it towards, like, children, really. I know myself as a person.
That's fair.
I know myself as a writer. Maybe rating systems will change. I don't know. Or maybe, like, I will change my opinion on this. This thing I've been working on for years now. I keep hitting my headphones. I do not see myself targeting myself mainly towards, like, tweens. Like, tweens is at the very least. I'm thinking about teens to, like, adults, to be honest. And the fact that we don't have diversity in terms of people of color, the fact that we don't have really diversity in terms of anything, we don't have diversity in terms of, like, queer people in those shows that aren't treated as jokes either, that's the other thing. And then, of course, like, handy-capable people, we don't really have anything of that in any, like, to be honest, in any, like, genre show, of course. And then in terms of genre, too, because I feel like a lot of people, when they make shows about people of color, sometimes they very limit themselves with genre, which is kind of annoying. That's like another, like, dependent thing. But I don't know, I just want more diversity within adult animation, because it's very frustrating. Like, why must I watch a white man complain all the time? If I want to see a white man complain, I will just turn it onto a different station or go outside. Like, it's not I can see that wherever I want.
So true.
But yeah, anyways, the Backyardigans, I really like that show.
I think you also just bring a great topic on how there isn't really a lot of, like, diversity in terms of age, but, like, also overlapping with, like, people of color. And, like, you kind of low-key just reminded me of this Disney Junior show called Mira, Royal Detective.
I've never heard of that show in my life.
Are you serious?
Yeah, no.
Oh my gosh, it's pretty new, actually. It's pretty much like a show that, like, is centered around this girl. I haven't, like, seen it myself, but so I can't really speak on it, but I think it, like, does a really good, like, great representation on Indian culture, and the creator is a Indian woman named Sascha Paladino.
Oh, and that's cool.
Yeah, so there's a lot of good things about it, just because I remember waking up, like, in the morning and, like, watching the show just for a little bit, and, like, I don't know what holiday they were celebrating, but I know, like, they were just, like, explaining what it was, and I was like, oh, wow. Okay, Disney, you're doing something.
Yeah, like, there's a Nick Jr. show that recently came out, Santiago the Seven Seas.
Oh, yeah.
I know the showrunner for that is a woman of color also. Oh, no, Santiago of the Seas, not of the Seven Seas.
Got it.
I think... Okay, it's by 3 people, Nikki Lopez, Leslie Valdez, and Valerie Walsh Valdez. And it appeared this year. And so I don't know a lot about the show. I only know about the show because they kept showing fan cams on Twitter to Flo Millie.
Same.
And I've seen like a commercial. So that's like another thing. I feel like with preschooler shows, I don't know, with preschooler shows and women of color, it's very like...
We love that.
Yeah, like they're really doing that. Well, everything else, I'm just like... I think that's the other thing. When I talk about intersectionality too, with like people of color, like we don't get a lot sometimes. And it's like really...
For sure.
Yeah.
I think it's just as important for children to, like, know about diversity and inclusion and different types of cultures. So I think it's really nice to see, like, these types of shows. These preschool shows are doing so much better.
Yeah, I
like,
sat there.
What?
I tell people, like, the fact that Bubble Guppies has more diversity than, like, the average adult animation show kills me every time.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, shout out to them.
Shout out to preschool shows.
Yeah, we love y'all for that.
Yeah, this is such a long tangent about preschool shows.
I mean, it's still animation, so...
Yeah, it is.
It's very important.
I want to do a preschool show episode just one day. I don't know which show, but, like...
That would be so cool, actually.
It would be very fun.
I want to mention Alan Itirio, I think, hopefully. He's a Mexican creator of Cartoon Network's Villainous, which aired a while ago, like a few years ago. It's still fairly new, but they haven't, like, made any new episodes, I feel like. It's in Latin America Cartoon Network, mainly. So it's been hard to bring it to the US for some weird, odd reason. And it's, like, basically centered around, like, this whole, like, main crew of villains who are pretty much, like, making a business to give other villains, like, different, like, resources in order to stop, like, superheroes and stuff. And it was just nice to see, like, more Latinx, like, creators, pretty much. And then there's also Diego Molano, who is, like, the Colombian creator for Victor and Valentino. I've seen, like, a few episodes in the beginning, and I thought it was really cute. But they also pretty much, like, mention a lot of, like, well, what's the word? Pretty much, like, a lot of...
like, lore of, like, Mexican culture. Because, like, the whole show's about these two, are they half-brothers or step-brothers or something? They're brothers. They're brothers.
Yeah, they're brothers. That's all I know.
Yeah, and, like, they basically are dealing with, like, a different, like, mythical creature every week. Yeah. Which is pretty cool. I haven't seen a lot of the show either. I've seen a few episodes. Actually, funnily, during the first weeks of lockdown. But yeah, like, it's a cute show. And then with Villains, I think I've seen a good chunk of Villainous. And, like, it reminds me of Evil Con Carne a little bit. Like, the tiniest bit. I think it's the color palette. I don't know. Or maybe it's just, I don't know. Maybe it's, like... Yeah, I don't know, it reminds me of Evil Con Carne. I don't know why. It just, like...
Is that another show?
Evil Con Carne is, like, the show that aired with Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy before they went separately.
Oh.
Yeah. Like, I think it's because both of them involve evil, like, characters, and then, like...
Oh, yeah.
I think it's also the color palette. I haven't seen the show in a while, so I can't really say it based off of writing, to be honest. But, like, when I was watching it, I was like, this reminds me of Evil Con Carne a little bit, which is really cool. I like that show.
Fun time. I just realized that Villainous and Victor and Valentino did a crossover. So there's that. Yeah, I mean, like, it was just really nice seeing, like, Hispanic culture being in like animation and stuff, because we don't really get to see that a lot.
Yeah.
There are 2 more Asian creators specifically. I mentioned Kate's song briefly, but she grew up in Hong Kong and moved to Cali. And so like she's pretty much a staff writer for Adventure Time Distant Lands, and she was also she also was in the Frederator like Go cartoons program, and co-created Welcome to Doozy with Jennifer Sur, which is a short on YouTube. It definitely has some like really cute bee and puppy cat vibes if you haven't seen it. So yeah, she's cool. I'll also provide links to the Cartoon Network panels about like what it means to be in like the animation industry. They have a lot of stuff and resources around that, especially with like directing, writing, production management, and other stuff. So I'll provide those links in the description below too if any of y'all want to check that out. It's really helpful. And then there's Bobby Alcid Rubio, who is a Filipino writer and director of the Pixar short Float that's on Disney Plus. As he was like kind of a part of like this Spark Shorts Pixar program, I think. And yeah, like it was he did just a lot of stuff on Disney. So like for like Incredibles 2, Atlantis, Lost Empire, Hercules, and then a little bit of Avatar: The Last Airbender. So everything Disney, and then Avatar.
Yeah.
Float is a really nice Pixar short. So definitely check that out because there's Filipino representation.
I feel like I have to speed run everything now because I just remembered a bunch of people at once.
Oh my god.
Okay, so
yeah.
After you said Victor and Valentino Villas, I don't know why I forgot about him because I follow him on Twitter and like I like his work.
Who?
Jorge Gutierrez. That's how stupid I am.
Oh my god.
And like so Jorge Gutierrez did El Tigre and he also did Book of Life.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Taste.
A legend. His work, like I really like his work too. He's from Mexico, and so a lot of his
right.
shows really revolve around like his Mexican heritage. And I love how like unapologetically proud he is too, because he's just like, look, I don't care. Like I remember there's like a story or something where he's gonna do like a mural for Disney, but then Disney said like, oh, the way that you drew the characters weren't on model, and I'm like, what did you? I'm like, it's a Jorge Gutierrez painting. I would have been happy it was in my building anyways.
Right.
Like his illustration work especially is very. I love it so much, and then like I love how distinct also his art style is in all the things that he does. Because, like, in Book of Life especially, I feel like the translation from his artwork to, like, a 3D format is amazing. Like, especially when you go to, like, I forgot the word, like, the phrasing. Like, when they go and they see, like, the ancestors and stuff, like, the way he drew, like, the skeletons are very, like, beautiful. And I love, like, Book of Life is definitely, like, all of his work is really good if you really like character design. Because, like, he does, like, a lot of, like, very, like, shape-based stuff. And everything's exaggerated, but like in a really nice way. I love his work. Another person I really recommend. And then I was also thinking about the creator of We Bare Bears, Daniel Chong. We Bare Bears is a Cartoon Network show. It ended recently, but they're getting a spin-off. So those who like the show, don't worry.
Yes.
I love this show because like it's very calming. It really is. It's just a very calming show. It's very, like, it's a show that dates itself, but in a really good way, too, because it's very 2010s, but, like, the way they do is, like, really nice. And I think I also remembered, I think in an interview or something, I think he mentioned, like, how, like, the bears being alienated were kind of, like, a reflection on how alienating America can feel to, like, I think Asian people? I'm trying to remember. It's been a long time.
Ooh.
But it was something...
Yeah.
I found that very interesting, too. I really like the show. Again, more people I need to mention. I would get beat up by my grandma if I didn't mention him. Floyd Norman, who is... So he is animator. He's the first black animator for Disney, actually.
Yes.
And so he is known. So some of his notable work. Yes, I'm reading the Wikipedia page. I'm sorry. Sleeping Beauty, Sword and Stone, Jungle Book, Mary Poppins. I haven't seen that movie. 101 Dalmatians,
Fair.
Toy Story 2, Monsters Inc., which is one of my favorite Pixar movies. And then he did some Mickey Mouse comic strips. In addition, he also did some, like, I have a book that my grandma got me, which is just Christmas classics of Disney. And so he did some work for that. Kate's laughing because I gave her a whole book tour yesterday. Like,
yeah, I'm just remembering it.
Yeah, and so he did some stuff. He also worked on like a bunch of course, a million other Disney films. He also worked on Frozen. If I don't know, I don't really care about Frozen that much, to be honest. But still, you know, still doing everything. He also worked on Josie and the Pussycats, which I really like that show. And also, he also worked on Robot Chicken. This explains a lot about me as a person, I feel like, which is fine. But he's done a lot of stuff. He's a legend. And there's like more really people. I need to remember all the people, like in terms of like more film work, because I mostly study TV work. I know okay, Goofy Movie. I'm gonna go on a slight Goofy Movie tangent. There's a video by Toonrific Tariq. Great channel, by the way. I love all his videos. And every time, especially like his more recent videos, I feel like are really good because they're very like, they do such a good job of analyzing characters within animated like films and TV shows. But one of my favorites is his Goofy Movie like analysis, which kind of talks about like how like the relationship between Goofy and Max, and then also just like everything about the movie, of course. And so there was one person in that, and I forget her name at the moment. It makes me really upset that I forgot her name. I should probably look it up right now as I'm doing that. But I know she's a character designer for, she helped design Roxanne, aka that one dog
Queen.
We all love. And so,
we do.
Yeah, and so basically what was really cool was she, like, she's a black woman, like a black woman animator, which we don't see a lot of again. And so she helped design that, and like she took inspiration from Ariel from like The Little Mermaid to like sculpt like this more relatable teenager. And I think it's really cool. That
makes so much sense.
Yeah, I think it's really cool. That's all I gotta say.
I think that's neat.
Yeah, and then I think the last person there's two people I want to bring up. Very briefly, I want to bring up the main character from why is he main character? The creator of the pilot Welcome to My Life, which is a Cartoon Network short, and her name is Elizabeth Ito. And so it was this cute it was like this mockumentary style pilot. I think I showed you it once. And it's about like this monster like basically living his life amongst like humans. And, like, it's also another pilot that kind of has, like, it's, like, very heavy, like, when you watch it, you're like, oh, this is about race. But, like, it's not, like, in the point where it's, like, traumatic, you know? I feel like if you're a person of color and you watch the show, like, you watch the pilot, you'll, like, relate to it a bit. Because, but, like, the way it, like, happens, it's so nice. And then also, there's involvement from Ian Jones-Cordy, because he voices a character, but like it's not like crazy. It's 9 minutes. It's not very like huge.
Are you talking about the one with the main character being that like blue monster?
Yes.
Okay, oh my gosh. It's been so long since I've seen that. Yeah, it's very subtle in how they like tackle that issue, which is pretty neat.
Yeah, like I think that's what I really appreciate about it too, because I'm like, again, I know, or like I'm sick of seeing like people of color in like traumatic situations, and I am. At the same time, I think it's nice to have, like, subtle things. Because it's like, look, yes, in theory, we are all the same as a human race or whatever. But at the same time, I feel like when you say that, it's, like, kind of dismissing the problems of, like, you know, racism, colorism, imperialism, kind of, you know?
Yep.
And so I'm just, like, you need to acknowledge, like, these issues within groups and, like, your own, like, racial biases and stuff. Exactly. To, like, really create quote unquote equality, even though we should really be striving for equity at this point, because like, you know, there's like a lot of problems in terms of like social economics, but like whatever, I'm not gonna get into that. But like it
right.
It's like this pilot is really nice. It's really relaxing. I wish it got picked up for a show.
Yeah, me
but
too.
It didn't, because Cartoon Network hates me specifically, which is cool.
It'd be like that.
But yeah,
it's
so
okay.
It would have been the third Cartoon Network show to be solely created by a woman after, you know, Steven Universe, and Summer Camp Island, which I always forget is a show, not gonna lie.
Summer Camp Island! Oh my god!
Yeah. And then I think the last person I want to mention, this is another person I really love. Her name is Kiana Conn-Smith. At the moment, she is a storyboard artist on Big City Greens, but also she is known for Team Rocket fan art. And also, at the moment, she is pitching a show, which is very, very exciting. So Kiana Conn-Smith, she is a half black, half Japanese artist. Like, her artwork is very good. It's like amazing. Also, it's just like, I've been following her since like early high school, I think. If it wasn't, it was mid-high, it was definitely high school. And so like just seeing her grow like over the years in terms of just like her artwork and her technique, and then also just like seeing her make it into the industry has been like really cool and like very inspiring. Everything that she does is so good. I remember the day when she announced that she was going to work on Big City Greens, like I was like visibly like very happy. And like I think my dad was like, wait, like he was like, you're very happy. So I'm like you wouldn't understand it if I explained it to you completely. So but I don't know. She's like another person I'm very, very inspired by, and like I don't know, like strive to do better. Just seeing her like doing what she wants to do is just amazing, and I feel very happy. You know, I really hope that her show gets picked up by someone, anyone.
Me too.
Because
anyone,
like,
please.
If they do, I would like. I'm sorry, I'm popping the biggest bottles today when it's announced that she got like her show picked up. We're popping the biggest bottles. I do not care. Spending a stimulus check on some bottles. I don't care. I would literally be one of the happiest people alive. Like, literally.
Honestly, though, same. Her work is so good. That's all I have to say, just because of how talented she is.
Yeah, like, it's crazy. The fact that she gets, like, just put in Team Rocket references is also, like, really good. She's living the dream.
Oh my gosh. She really is.
She is responsible for...
Oh my god, I remember that episode.
Yeah. The episode we're referencing, I know definitively 2 episodes that she definitely boarded. Some of them I don't remember, but the ones I remember is the one where they had to like cut their budget a bit, so they literally used her storyboards in the episode. And then like when I mean they literally used, I mean like they literally used the pictures that she used. And then and then like the one where it was called Grandma Driver, which is a Baby Driver reference or whatever. And the thieves in the thing were based off of Jesse and James from Pokemon, who she's obsessed with. And then also keep in mind that in Japan, the voice actress for Grandma in Big City Greens in the Japanese stuff is voiced by the same person who did Meow with. So like it's mind blowing. It's just like this amazing moment.
So crazy.
Bro.
What?
I forgot a person.
Uh-oh, which person?
Tiffany Ford. She's worked on Craig of the Creek. I'm pretty sure she worked on Steven Universe at one point, and she also worked on Clarence.
Oh, right.
She is a black creator. I don't remember if she's black and Asian. No, she's black and she's Asian, but I don't know specifically, like which nationality, right? The day when I remember specifically nationality, I know the difference. I just have to think. But she is also a creator. I really like her artwork. Another big inspiration of mine. But yeah, that's my last creator. There's a million more I could talk about, but I'm gonna stop myself. Oh wait, no, I'm not gonna stop myself. Shi-Yoon Kim, because he's in like, he works mainly in film, and I really like his character work. He appears at least. Does he appear in all my art books? I don't know if he appears in the Princess and the Frog one, but he appears in the Spider-Verse one. This is just me talking my art books, I'm so sorry. And then, the Big Hero 6 one, which is really cool. So, I really like his character work. There's a million more people I could talk about, but this is almost an hour and a half long, so I'm gonna stop myself.
Yeah, there's so many other, like, POC creators out there, and yeah, there's so many that, like, are definitely really inspiring and such a huge contribution in just making this industry itself in, what am I
We really appreciate all the creators of color, whether you're a showrunner or if you work more, like, even more behind the scenes. We really appreciate you, because you guys are helping make these very cool works. And, like, you guys don't get appreciated a lot, actually, which really sucks. I mean, like, especially, like, if you work, like, more behind the scenes. Like, it's, like, animation is a thankless job sometimes. And so, we just want to say thank you.
Yeah. Shay said it more elegant than I did. But
It's that...
Yeah.
It's that almost 1 o'clock brain. Look, I... Caught me at my most elegant time.
But yeah, adding on to that, really want to congratulate and give you that appreciation for how much you're changing the industry itself so drastically. And it's so inspiring to see this, especially just us wanting to get into animation. And there's so many aspects that go into animation that not a lot of people recognize, and we're now recognizing that in this episode. So thank you from the bottom of our hearts for that. So thank you all for listening to the season finale of the 1224 podcast. Let us know in the comments below about your favorite POC creators and what other thoughts you have about diversity and inclusion itself in the animation industry.
I can go on for days about it, to be honest. So
honestly,
yeah.
Yeah, let's start these conversations, because it doesn't end here. Any final words about
basically animation industry, especially the ones targeted towards adults? I'm coming for you. I'm gonna break into your house and tell you, hire more diverse voices. Why can't you guys do that, please? It's not hard. It really isn't. Like,
it's really not. Please hire us.
Yeah.
Maybe,
I don't know.
Maybe one day.
One day.
Thank you all for listening to the 1224 podcast. I'm Kate.
I'm Shay.
And we'll see you all next time. Bye.
Bye.